Okay, the objective of this lesson and before I keep writing it, we are on lesson 7.2. This is page 311. Page 311, we're on the lesson multiply fractions and whole numbers. The objective of this lesson is we will model the product of a fraction and a whole number. Okay, we will model the product of a fraction and a whole number. So we could use manipulative for this lesson, but I also think that this is going to be good so that you can draw it yourself. And so we're going to go ahead and start with investigate. We're going to investigate investigate the question. Go ahead and read it with me. Ready? Begin. Martin is planting a vegetable garden. Each row is 2 meters long. He wants to plant carrots along 3/4 of each row. How many meters of each row will he plant with carrots? So remember that when we are reading a word problem, you need to highlight the important information that you're going to use. So in this case, we have each row is 2 meters. So this is important, right? This information. Each row is 2 meters long. And he wants to plant carrots along 3/4 of each row. So 3/4 of each row. And then the question is, how many meters of each row will he plant with carrots? How many meters? So meters is one of our final answer that we're trying to find is how many meters. And that's important to note. So we're going to have to multiply. If we want to find 3/4 of 2 meters, okay, remember 3/4 of 2 meters, that means we are going to multiply. Okay, so in this case, you will need a page to draw your models. Make sure that you have a page from yourself to draw your models. Okay, blank page, it could be just a line paper is fine. If you need time to get this, please pause video and get it because you will be needing this. Let's go to our steps here. And we have A, place 2 one-whole fraction strips side by side. So basically, you're going to learn how to do a model to show 3/4 times 2. Please pay very close attention to this because when we come back from spring break, I will be having you draw models for every concept. So this is one video that you will be able to go back to know how to model multiplying a fraction with a whole number. Okay, so here's my paper, and the instruction is to place 2 one-whole fraction strips side by side to represent the length of the garden. So we don't have a fraction strip, but you can actually draw 2 strips, and these are going to represent my number 1 fraction, which you've done before. You've used the strips before, so these are the red ones. Okay, see, so we have 2 fraction strips here, and we're putting it side by side to represent the whole number. Okay, and we're putting 2 because the problem is 3/4 times 2. So this is my whole number, 1, 2. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. So we're multiplying 3/4 times 2, and we have 2 fraction strips to represent the number 2. Now, find 4 fraction strips, all with the same denominator that will that will fit exactly under the two holes. So for that, you know, and if you have your fraction strips, you can try that with the fraction strips. But if you don't, then you kind of have to think, what fraction strip can I fit equally for? And so, 4 fraction strips that fit equally. So, and for that you can kind of think, well, 3/4. If it was one whole, then it could be in fourths, right? But you can kind of just think, well, halves, if I do halves, 1/2, 2/2, 3/2, 4/2, then that will give me 4 equal strips. So we're going to go ahead and draw those 4 equally. Now, the reason why I have to do fourths is because I'm doing 4 groups, okay? So just a little side note. I'm going to go ahead and divide this into 4. Okay, and so here I know that this is 1/2, this is 1/2, this is 1/2, and this is 1/2. Okay, I divided into 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, because I needed to divide or have it in groups of 4. So this goes back to yesterday's lesson, Friday's lesson, which we did. We did it a little different by drawing arrays or doing our different groups. This is the same idea. I'm dividing my whole number into the 4 groups. And now I'm going to select, so C, if you see your part C, I'm going to circle 3/4 of, oops, you can't see that. Okay, circle 3/4 of 2 on the model you drew. So in this case, I'm going to circle 3 out of the 4, right? And that doesn't make sense. Let me just put the numbers here. This is part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, right? Because I divided my whole group into 4. That's my denominator. And I'm going to circle 3 because that's my numerator. So I'm going to do that. Circle it or highlight it. That's 3 parts of the whole 4. Okay. So now I'm going to complete this sentence here. I circled 3/4 of 2 on the model. Complete the number sentence. So that means that 3/4 times 2 is equal to, well, let's see how much we have. We have 1/2, 2/2. That's 1 whole, right? And 1/2. So then that means that my answer is 1 and 1/2. Or you could just say 1, 2, 3/2, right? Let me put that 3/2, right? I have 3/2, but that is equal to 1 and 1/2, right? 1 and 1/2. Or if you did the division part, you would know that it's 1/2 because if you divide 3 divided by 2 fits 1 whole time, then you subtract, then you put your decimal point, bring down the 0, and then 2 fits into the 10 5 times. So that's 1.5 if it was decimal, but you know that 0.5 is half. Okay, now I know this could be confusing. So our answer is 3/2 or 1 and 1/2 meters each row. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next example. But I want you to pause your video and answer questions 1 and 2. Use a concrete model. Explain why you place 4 fraction strips with the same denominator under the 2 1-whole strips. And number 2, use a concrete model. Explain how you would model 3/10 of 2. So basically, this is kind of like another problem. How would you model it? If you get confused with number 2, that's okay, but please do number 1. And if you can't answer it, you might want to watch the video that you watched so far again. So go ahead and turn your page. And now we're gonna go ahead and do make connections. So we have another problem here. In the investigate activity, you multiplied a whole number by a fraction. You can also use a model to multiply a fraction by a whole number. So Mango was helping, not Mango, sorry, Margot was helping clean up after a class party. There were 3 boxes remaining with pizza in them. Each box had 3/8 of a pizza left. How much pizza was left in all? So here's the pizza example that I like. And this one, instead of using tiles, we're using fraction circles. So we're finding 3 times 3/8, right? And if you were to highlight, there's 3 boxes remaining, and there's 3/8. So there's 3/8, and I did it backwards. Well, 3 boxes times 3/8 because that's what's left on each box. So find 3 times 3/8, model 3 one-whole fraction circles to represent the number of boxes containing pizza. So in this case, what we want to do is draw the model, and they drew it for you, right? You have a model with 3 pizzas, and they all have 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have, all of them have 8 pieces. Now we're going to place 1/8 fraction circle pieces on each circle to represent the number of, or the amount of pizza that was left in each box. So we said that 3/8 was left in each box, correct? So we're going to shade 3 of those 8, because that's how we represent that fraction, right? 1, 2, 3. So 3/8. And that happened to the 3 boxes. So we're going to shade all of them. Okay, and there's our model. Now, each circle shows how many 8ths of a whole. So each circle shows how many 8ths of a whole? Well, we did 3, right? So it shows 3/8 of a whole. The 3 circles show, so in other words, in all the 3 circles, how many 8ths do we have? You would count them all, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 3 circles show 9/8 of a whole. Now we're going to complete the number sentence. So that's basically what it is, right? In the multiplication process. Complete the number sentences. 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 3/8. Remember that when we multiply, it's kind of like, this is a way of writing it if we were adding it. So 3, 6, 9, 8. That would give us 9/8. Let me write it in black so that you can see that clearer. Okay. So this is the same thing as saying 3 times 3/8. So that would be 9/8. Because that's what we found in our diagram. That's how we did it. We were to add 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 3/8. So Margot had 9/8, or we don't want to leave it like that, right? We want to write it as a fraction bigger than 1, as a mixed number. Because the 9 is bigger than the 8, we need to regroup. So we can take out 1 whole from there, and we'll have 1 left, right? Because 9 minus 8 is 1. So that's 1 and 1/8. Let me show you an example from the book. So I'll do 1 and 2 just so that in case you're still confused, I can clarify it for you. So use a model to find the product. We have 5, 6 times 3. And so we model 3 as a whole number. And we need to divide the whole thing into 3 sets. So you can actually do that if you had fraction strips, right? You're finding strips that 6 of them will fit in there because you have 6 groups. So in this case, they're giving it to us as a half. So that's 1/12 fits 6 times in there. So it's 6 group because that's a denominator. And then we want to circle 5 because it's 5, 6. So we circle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is equal to 5 halves, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halves. And if we would write that as a mixed number, then we would get 2.5. And how do we know that? Well, you can do the division. 5 divided by 2. The 2 goes into the 5 2 times. Then we multiply, subtract, and then here goes the decimal point. Or actually, you don't go that far, right? Your remainder. This is my remainder. My remainder over the divisor, which is a half. 2.5. See, I got the same thing. So here, and here we have another example where we have 2 times 5, 6. So we have 2 of this fraction. So I'm going to do this fraction 2 times to show 5, 6. The denominator indicates how I'm going to divide each circle. There's 6 parts. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each. And I'm only going to shade 5. So that's how they shaded 5. And now I'm just going to count the shaded ones. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's 10, and the fraction is the denominator, the groups, would be 6. Because the fraction strips is 6. Now I need to write this as a mixed number. And 6 fit into the 10 ones. And we will still have 4 left, which is 4, 6. But we can reduce that, right? Because that's not in simplest form. These digits are divisible by 2. So that would be 1 2/3. One more example, because these don't have a model done for you. So I know that could be a little tricky if you don't know how to do the model. And if you don't know, like in this case, I know that if I was doing this model, I needed 3 fraction strips, right? 3 whole numbers, and divide those whole numbers into 12 equal parts. So let me do it both ways. If I did that, then I will have 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3 whole fraction strips. If you have your fraction strips, you can work together and figure it out. But otherwise, it would be like that. You would draw it like that on your own. And so all these 3 pieces, I need to divide it in 12. So how many? So I can divide the 12 by 3 to see how much I have to divide each strip, right? So I know that 3 goes into 12. I could divide it like in 4, right? So that means that I would have to divide each whole fraction strip by 4. So that means that the 1/4 fraction strips will fit. So then I'm going to go ahead and do that. 1, 2. So each one would be 1/4. And that way, okay, I did it just bigger because it looks fun. Okay, so that's 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See, so it fits. 12 fit in those 3 holes. So that means that I'm good. Now I just need to circle 5, right? Because I just want 5 12ths. So in my group of 12, I want to circle only 5. So then I will circle that. And so that means that my answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 5 fourths. Or, because it has to be in simplest form, or simplest form and as a mixed number. So we need to see, okay, well, the 4 fits into the 5 one time. So 5/4 is the same as 1 1/4. And that is the correct response. If you're using this method, if you're using the fraction circles, then you would have to write make 3 fraction circles. That would have been 1, 2, 3. You would have to divide each fraction circle into 12 pieces. So that would be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I tried. Well, that's the idea. You would have to divide it by 12 and then shade 5 on each and then count all the shaded ones. I found this to be easier for this particular problem, but now I want you to try it. So go ahead and answer questions 4 and 5 with a partner, and then when you are done with that, then you can do the one on Things Central. I hope that you do well. When you're done with Things Central, then I want you to do Things Smarter if you have enough time in this page and the next page on page 314. Okay? Well, have a good day.